to cut it on time. We ran into some technical challenges, making sure that the product was solid. And so it was all hands on deck for a period of time. And I just want to acknowledge that we've got a great dev team that really, you know, bleeds for the project. That's the way I like to refer to it. They do whatever they have to do to get the job done. So I'm very, very, very grateful to be working with such a great group of people and such a talented development team. I've posted the release announcement. So all of you, please do share that on your social media channels. And of course, the marketing team will formally take that, but we should all be really proud of the work that's being done. Let's see. So if you're running a node, please make sure you update your software. This will involve doing a Docker pull if you've got if you've got an old Docker container, or there's, if you look at the user guide, there are instructions on how to perform the updates if you have a prior package of the node. It's really important that you update it because we've made changes to the communications protocol, and we'd like for everybody to be running the latest and greatest version of the package. If you're not running a node, that's fine, but if your node happens to be up, we really recommend that you upgrade, apply the update. In my written notes, you'll see that there's a link for the user guide for running the R node. I can go ahead and give you guys the link here in the chat. And so we tried to put together a comprehensive list of configuration options and putting it all together with an actual executable command. There are some requirements for directories existing on the system as well. So it's really important that if you are going to download and use the node, please do take a moment to reference the user guide. There's also documentation for the README under the node repository in GitHub, so everybody can have as smooth an experience with pre-release software as possible, right? This is still pre-release software, so we still have some bumps and kinks in the product, but we're trying our best to document everything so everybody has a smooth user experience. So that's all I have to say about Node 3. Onward, upward. We are hiring sysadmins. So I want to keep saying this again. Job descriptions on the powerfx.net website. Please do check those out. And if you're a sysadmin or know anybody that's a sysadmin, please apply, let them know about the job. It would be terrific for us to get some great talent involved on the project. So good news on that front. Kelly will be providing updates for the next 2 Hangouts. I will not be here. I will miss all of you, and I'll be sure to catch up on the updates via YouTube, but look to Kelly for those updates in the coming weeks. I'll be back after the holiday. So after Memorial Day, I'll be back to my usual self for all of you. Rholang team.
Miss you.
Yeah, I know. I'll miss you guys too. So let's dive into the detailed updates. So Rholang team, we are making good progress on the Node.5 deliverables. And if you want to check out what the Node 5 release plan is, that is on the wiki. You can get to it from the developer.coop website as well. We've got a link to all the release plans there for ease. This release is a lot about the blockchain. So we are prototyping those features right now to support the blockchain, and we're making great progress. Those prototypes are happening in the storage layer and consensus. You can see some of the consensus PRs coming through. If you're interested, you can go to GitHub and see those. Michael Birch is committing those. We're refactoring the interpreter to a tagless final style, and that's really around having a consistent form of Scala, consistent grammar of Scala for the code base for the project at large. And this actually lends it really well to formal verification later on. It's going to be important that if we choose to undergo formal verification in the future, that everything is very consistent. So that's good work that's being done there. And we're implementing logical connectives, the AND logical connectives in Rholang. We've already got the sorter and the grammar updated. We're doing the matcher right now. And this is like a big, hairy feature. This is actually a very big feature. Logical connectives are complex, and they're important. It'll be a very nice feature in Rholang, and Kyle's spending a lot of time getting that implemented. So I expect that Node 4 will have some nice Rholang updates. We will be providing some example code for each of the updates and an update to the tutorial. So hopefully we'll have all those buttoned up by the Node 4 timeframe, and we can look for those updates to come. The node team, as I indicated, some storage updates. We're prototyping the Merkle partition tree for the blockchain. We expect to have that prototype done this week. And then we'll take that prototype and then use that to really kind of as a binary specification to inform us on what needs to be done for the final production ready implementation of the storage layer tuple space portion. And from there, we'll do a written specification and then a project plan. So Henry's going to be heading that up. We're also implementing the TCP changes in the communications module. As we indicated, we want to move away from UDP and Kademlia and move to TLS, Transport Layer Security, and TCP using the Google Protobuf architecture. And so we've started that implementation. We're also doing the metrics for Node 4, the Node 4 release, and that's all of the JVM metrics. For example, when garbage collection is running, what's the memory pool, memory utilization, disk space utilization, disk space utilization by RSpace, et cetera, et cetera. And all those metrics will be exported via KMON style. And Prometheus is the option we decided to go with, that we will provide an option of configuring Prometheus to expose those metrics. So that is in flight. Of course, node operators can choose to use any monitoring tool that supports KMON metrics. And we also hope to expose these metrics via our gRPC API as well, that will just consume the KMON metrics and then expose it via gRPC. So then we can offer a single interface for everything that is node, that is being the gRPC API. We're also planning on doing some continuous integration enhancements. So lessons learned from Node 3, we're at a place now where we need to start running integration and performance testing. And that's going to involve a mini net of about 3 nodes. The nodes boot up, they connect. And then we send some tests to the gRPC API, and we verify that the servers and the nodes are healthy and are behaving as we expected and sending back the responses we expected. So that work is being done. Our goal is ultimately we would like for each and every pull request to run these integration tests, recognizing that that may not scale out or be reasonable. Our first blush is to try to have these integration tests run against the development branch every hour. That way we can take a look and see if there's a particular commit that's problematic, what problems it created, which tests failed, et cetera, et cetera. So we want to be continuously testing the software, even with respects to integration tests, not just unit tests. So that's work that's being done during this sprint. The Rosette team continues to research on how to re-architect the virtual machine. Greg will be meeting with the team tomorrow to discuss possible solutions. I've also taken the liberty of inviting Mike Stay to that, Greg, so he can kind of understand your vision and kind of be a translating medium for you as well. So that will help provide you some support in terms of expressing what it is you want to see happen. Opcode documentation's in flight along with the VM specification. We're doing an English-only specification for the time being. Ultimately, we'll want something that is closer to the Ethereum yellow paper specifying the entire platform. But as a first straw man approach, we're just going with a plain English specification. Website updates, we have updated developer.rchain.coop with the latest release information. So you can absolutely go straight to the website to get all the releases and the documentation, tutorials. We also did offer a tarball of the jar files this time. So if people didn't want to use Docker and they just want to run the jars locally on their Macintoshes or any platform Windows, because they don't want to use a Docker implementation, we did also ship the Java assemblies as part of this release. And those are being built via continuous integration. Expect that moving forward, we'll have the Java assemblies available as well as an option for people to run. If you run into an issue, please file a bug in JIRA. We do have an open source license, and you can create an account if you wish, file bugs and get informed of updates, watch tickets, et cetera, et cetera. RCon 3, we named it RCon, is our developer conference. The third conference is going to be happening September 5th and 6th, are open to everyone. The event goes from September 3rd to 6th. September 3rd and 4th are by invitation only. We are looking at, when we talk invitation only, those will be select node operators that want to be part of the validator set for the mainnet launch and the testnet launch. We'll be wanting to collaborate closely with them, and developers that are looking to build apps on the platform. I believe that is what the invitation pool is. The event will be in Berlin. We'll be launching the website next week with more information about the event and a call for speakers. We will be charging for this event. I don't know the details yet about the ticket amount, but just so you know, so everybody is aware that we will be charging a nominal amount. It's not going to be anywhere near some of the more ridiculously priced blockchain or very highly priced blockchain conferences. It'll be very reasonable, and we will have discounts and incentives for students and academics to attend. So that's my update. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have a question about the date. Can you just clarify one more time? You said September 3rd?
Yes, the event goes from September 3rd to 6th. The invitation-only portion are the first 2 days, September 3rd and 4th.
Okay,
and the public portion is 5th and 6th.
I'm just saying, like, Burning Man ends on September 3rd. So, I don't know what we're doing with Burning Man then.
I thought Burning Man, we thought Burning Man was the week before.
No.
August 26th through the 3rd.
It's the 26th through the 3rd. That's correct. And we're not going to be there the whole time. We're only going to be there for a few days, and then we hightail it out of there and head on over to.
Understood. Alrighty, there it is. Dates are official now.
Yeah. No, good catch, Christian. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Christian.
Yeah. Any other questions for Meta? I have a few myself. They're not actually questions, more comments. So Meta, I really appreciate you inviting Mike. I thought I had invited him, but apparently I didn't. With respect to that, I can already say that I've done some fairly detailed analysis of the approach that I was proposing in order to avoid mutability. And it looks like a mutable solution will be like an order of magnitude faster. So I'm going to recommend to Tim and Alex to go ahead and go with the mutable solution. It would be a science project to try to get the immutable solution to the kind of performance requirements that we need for this. So side effects uber alles this time.
Okay. Yeah. The last I heard from the guys is that they were going to look at they were proceeding with the immutable solution.
Yeah. I just wanted to double check that we couldn't avoid it. When did we meet? 6 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, I think it was.
I think it's Thursday. I think it's tomorrow.
No, I'm just saying the previous meeting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so at that meeting, I said, well, let's just bifurcate. I'm going to go off and explore this approach, just to make a last-ditch effort. And I did want to say that Mike had actually suggested back in February, why don't we just cut our losses and go with a mutable solution? And I take full responsibility for going this long on a functional-only approach. And largely, it's as you mentioned before, we need to set ourselves up for formal verification. This is not just an if. We absolutely plan to do formal verification of the entire stack, end to end, top to bottom. So that's a requirement from the co-op's perspective. And so getting all our ducks in a row to ease the formal verification is going to be absolutely a necessity, which was why I was angling as long as I could for an immutable solution. But it's not going to be performance. So we'll have to bite the bullet on the other side of this with respect to the complexity of doing the formal verification.
Trade-offs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the way software works.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if anyone's interested, the solution I came up with is kind of cool as a research project, but it's not. I wouldn't put it into production code. But I'll talk to Alex and Tim and Mike tomorrow about that. Awesome. Any other updates or from you, Matt?
Greg?
Yes.
After the development update is done, I'd like to give an update on the bounty system, the RChain bounty system.
Actually, that I would like to, Alan, I got a heads up on that from Ian. I think it's a good idea, but not after the development. I want to put it after some of the other updates.
That'll be awesome. Thank you so much. I'll be on the call.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing. We're going to have some updates about the board meeting, which will be the third in line from now. So we have the
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about that.
Thanks.
Sure, absolutely.
Any
Okay.
other questions for me, folks? Going once, going twice? Okay, you can catch me. You can put your questions on the forums, or you can catch me on Discord. Thank
Sweet.
you.
So Meta, have a great time on your vacation. And,
Thank you.
And please don't check in to RChain.
Oh, you know me, it's so hard. It's so hard. I will try my best.
That's great. I'm glad that we could, have your attention and engagement that much. But please be on vacation.
Thank you.
Okay, so move right along. I'd like to hear updates from Reflective Ventures, and yeah, see how things are going down that road.
Sure. Hey, everybody, it's Greg Heiss here. Real quick, I think since we talked last time, we had a hugely successful event down in San Francisco that the Berkeley blockchain guys helped us put on, and Greg Meredith made his presence there and did a great job on the presentation. Nash came as well. Christian, thank you for filming that. I would encourage everybody, if you haven't, check it out on YouTube. Greg, the comments that we got afterwards, and I think you heard some of them. That was one of the best presentations that I've seen you give, focused specifically towards that audience. So it was fantastic. We had over 200 people sign up to get in, and we clearly didn't have that many. We didn't have room for it, but it was very well received. So thank you, Greg, for coming down and doing that pitch for us. We appreciate that.
Oh, well, thank you for organizing. I just want to say it was incredibly well organized, very professionally done. And it was great to see so many people out there. Just there's so many people attending and really genuinely engaged. I think it took us an hour to get out of that room after the talk.
Yes, it did. So you can imagine the next request, Greg, is we're going to be back down there again because they're already asking to have us come back. So we'll figure out a way. So that's the kind of appetite we want, right? So that's what we're doing. We've got rolling from that into next week at the Blockchain Week in New York with the consensus event, of course, right in the middle. So our whole team's going to be there. We have a VIP reception that's happening on Tuesday evening that we're getting quite a few overflows for that one. Nash is coming out, and some of the RChain team I know is going to be there as well. So we're super excited about that. So lots happening with that week, and we'll have more updates from there. As far as deal flow goes, we just got one closed just the other day, actually, and that was the Open team. So if you want to look them up, it's openfuture.io. So they're a payment infrastructure group, super hot application. I don't think that the team has seen a group that's had more attention and focus on them than these guys have. If anybody wants to see or talk to DApp developers or folks that are trying to launch a company, I think these guys have done it as well, if not better than anybody else. Of course, we'll see what happens in the long run, but we're really excited about what they've got and what they're doing. So that's the openfuture.io guys. And we'll put some more information up on Discord and certainly with our website, which, by the way, is going to be launching next week. So you'll be able to get a lot of updates for us next week on that. As far as other deals that are going, we've got, I just was looking at the sheet after our call this morning. We've got 21 in screening right now and 18 under review. And they're ranging from, we've got a couple in gaming, 2 in medical, 2 in the work marketplace, financial. We've got a great IoT play that we're going to hopefully announce next week, an insurance play as well, which we're excited about, and then a research and data aggregator. So those are some of the different projects that we're working on. Probably go on and on, but that's going to be my update for today. Any questions from anybody? Great. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. That was
Cool.
really nice. I appreciate it. Yes?
All right, I've got some numbers for you. I'm going to keep them brief. 3, 9, and 19. 3 in advanced stage from Pythia. 9 are local here in Seattle, and 19 in the pipeline. We'll should be making some announcements next week during Consensus, which we're super excited about. When can I get Trusted Key, Altcoin, Mindshift, Yave, and a bank, in front of the community? I know we talked about moving to a deal day where we can talk about, have these guys present. So we've got them. If not, I'll just set it up separately. We'll throw it out on Discord. Christian, maybe we can get you to capture that. Next week is Consensus. As you know, we're looking forward to meeting everybody. It's going to be super exciting. We've got a bunch of enterprise clients we're talking to, and early stage, looking forward to meeting anybody. If you've got any referrals for us, we're very interested in that. And then I'm going to yield the rest of my time, or 60 or 120 seconds, to the COO of LifeID, Tyler Boscolo. We've got a really exciting community announcement. Tyler, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Lawrence, for yielding the rest of your time. We've got a really exciting announcement that we're thrilled to make for the community. So as you guys know, we're just so excited to be partnered with RChain through our strategic investment with Pythia, through some of the partnerships that we're coming out with companies like Reflective, helping try to organize the identity working group. So you guys are so integral to our mission as being the platform that we are being able to build on top of. And, we really see ourselves as being the U-port for the RChain community, which is super exciting. So with that being said, today we are officially announcing our future token interest sale, which is similar to a SAFT if you're familiar. And so this is an invite only for friends, family, and most importantly, the RChain community. So there will be 2 sales going concurrently, one for international purchasers and then one for US investors who will be accredited. And so, like I said, we're really excited to get that going. If you are interested, feel free to shoot us an email at id@lifeid.io. We're going to be handling all of the responses via that email channel. And we're just really looking forward to getting this ball rolling with the community.
Thank you very much for that, Tyler. Very appreciated. It's good to hear. I understand you're doing good work with Resonate and Imogen.
Yeah, we're super excited. They got some really great stuff, and we're putting our heads together to create a really great platform.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the update, Lawrence, and for including Tyler in the communications. That's good news. Thank you. Okay, so we had a board meeting, a follow-up board meeting to the one that we had on Tuesday. And the board, I just want to let people know, the board has approved the proposal that was put together by Supermarkt and Ayla. I don't know why I have the hardest time remembering Ayla's last name, but I will. Ayla Kegel. So Ayla Kegel is one of the partners in Supermarkt, and they are going to help us with the formation of the Genossenschaft, which is the German cooperative legal entity. Ayla is working right now through the co-op's bylaws and articles of incorporation to provide a German translation, and then to sort of modify that to fit within the best fit within the structure, and then find a sponsoring organization, an auditing organization that will essentially provide the assurance of compliance to the German legal structure. Ayla feels confident that we can be sort of in a state where we can safely announce in the September framework the formation of the European Co-op. I want to be really, really crisp and clear that our aim here is to have the European Co-op be an autonomous organization, which means that we all need to be thinking hard about how to make set up the kind of mutual support and mutual interdependence between the two organizations. So this has naturally happened between Pyrofex and the co-op, between Reflective and the co-op, and Pythia and the co-op. So there's a kind of natural arrangement of mutual benefit that that these organizations provide to each other that helps them interoperate cooperatively. What we need to do is to set up a similar kind of structure between the U.S. and the European co-op. And so I welcome community comment. We could maybe keep some time on this call, but we shouldn't go too deep on this call. But welcome comment in Discord, and maybe we can have a separate time to set up a community call about how to ensure that we have a mutually supportive relationship between the two co-ops. So again, we are being as transparent as possible. We will have a version of the SOW with Supermarked up and available for the community to comment on. I confess, when I initially saw the price tag, which is about $138,000, I was like, what? This is an order of magnitude more than it cost us to set up the co-op here in the US. But I did some research. We all did our diligence. Ella is a very, very professional. She spoke to the board and satisfied the board's questions about the lay of the land in Europe. And it just turns out that Europe has been doing this whole cooperative thing a lot longer, and it's a lot more regulated. And in particular in Germany, there's a pretty high bar. It's a fairly high bar of compliance. It should be likened to the kind of high bar of compliance that the Ethereum Foundation had to meet for their Swiss foundation. I don't know if anyone is aware of how big the legal team Ming had to assemble in order to sort of maintain their standing in Switzerland. It won't be that onerous by a long stretch, but that kind of gives a measure, a yardstick by which to measure the kind of outlay that the co-op has been putting into this. So let me stop there and make sure, are there any questions about what I just said or about the formation of the European co-op?
When do you anticipate the first community call will be, Greg, for that, with members associated with setting that up, et cetera, so people can start,
Yeah. Sometime around the first week in June is when to have that community call.
Sounds good.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so there are a few other items that the board will be talking about probably at the next community call, but we need to make sure that we've gone through a process. There's some organizational restructuring that's going on, but we'll talk about that in detail at the next community call. And I don't think there was any other business that the board attended to. Oh, sorry. We did go through the budget, and we're going to, so Kate has a preliminary draft budget, and we're going to go through that one more time, and then have Kate present that to the community right at the next community call after that. But that work is underway, and Kate's done a really good job. We had a very, very good discussion about that at the board meeting. Is Kenny on?
Yep, I'm here.
Anything I missed?
No, other than I'm going to put this out there for community feedback at the moment. I've heard from members or people that have contacted me directly that they would like a little bit more access to the board. So I'm would like to make myself available for that. I'm thinking right now possibly something like a once a week ish type of thing, like on Thursdays at the moment work best for me, like at a 1 o'clock time period, but I don't really have anything definite right now. So in all I'm asking here right now is for feedback on whether a hangout similar to this would be appropriate. But please do know that if this does happen, whoever is representing the board will not be able to answer everything the community asks. So it will be we will share as much as we can, but there will be some things that we just can't talk about until they're either finalized or actually in the minutes or any of these other things. So it will be more transparent, I think, but it just won't be completely, just because we have a process for which the board communicates officially. So open to feedback on that. So please let me know, either private message me or ping me on the board, on the channel that we have for the members right now in Discord, which I think is called Members to Board or Board to Members or something like that. And then we'll see what we can do to keep the community as informed as possible.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting idea. I like that idea. More communication here, I think, is better. The one thing you did remind me, though, was that we agreed, I think, as a board, to start to set some metrics for the bounty system. I think the bounty system has been moving forward without a good, clear sense of what constitutes success. I do want to say that I have been incredibly pleased by the way in which the bounty system has brought community engagement to the code base. That, I think, has just been a home run. Really, really fantastic there. I think there probably are lots of ways in which the bounty system can be improved, but in order to really improve it, we need to put some proper metrics in place. And I think the whole board was behind this idea of getting some way to assess whether or not the bounty program is doing what we want as a community for it to do. And with that, let me segue over to Alan and give you some time.
Thank you so much, Greg. I'd like to give a short debrief on issue 677, Principal Rewards in the RChain Bounty System. I like to think of it as Bounty System Governance Sprint 3. The bounty system was created at the same time as the creation of the co-op, and that was Sprint 1. It ran in an Excel spreadsheet. Sprint 2 is ongoing now. It's represented by issue 616. We're introducing trust metrics and so on. Sprint 3 is more oriented toward a principled approach. How do we value contributions? How do we value contributions to the co-op and keep those in line with rewards that we would like to share for people who make those contributions? For those of you who may be listening as newcomers, our bounty reward system expresses how we run our cooperative. We encourage active participation by our members, and we track their contributions in a system we call bounty rewards, and record those contributions in our ROC token ledger. So if you're watching this, I'd welcome your comments. If you read the proposal, even if you're not associated with RChain, I'm going to post the link right now. We do keep our issues in GitHub, which some people find a little bit awesome. GitHub is where developers post their issues, and we do as well. There's even a Google Docs repository where if you ping me, you'll be able to write your own viewpoint and about our bounty system and what your ideas for it are and so forth. Here's the link. Well, give me a second. I'll post the link, and I just wanted to say thank you to Greg and to everybody on the call.
Thank you very much for that, Alan. I appreciate a lot of your comments. I do have to clarify that not all co-op participation is rewarded by bounties, and in particular, if you became a member of the co-op, in order to be a member in good standing, there's a clearly delineated list of activities that a member in good standing has to engage in. And there is no expectation of receiving bounties for engaging in that behavior.
Yes. Greg, and that's going to be clearly delineated in every issue that there's no prior commitment unless a prior commitment is made, and there's no guarantee of rewards for participation. Those go through a process that we're currently developing and helping to take to the next level.
Right. So yeah, and Ian has some very good points with respect to how we perceive ourselves. Ian was posting to me that we're not a worker co-op, so we need to be careful in that framing. Actually, Ian, do you want to say a few words about that?
Yeah, sure. So the co-op is structured as a consumer co-op, and the benefit to members is primarily a rebate in ROC based on your participation and use of the platform. So I have to say that number one, I think.
Yeah, agreed. And then you also point out that we have adopted terms of service.
There's been a unanimously decided terms of service that went into effect on April 6th. HJ and the rest of the board all resolved to enact this terms of service as written. So that's really our next step, is to implement those terms of service.
With respect to the bounty system, just to clarify. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Ian.
My understanding was we were going to have a decentralized reward system. That I think the proposal is very good. The latest iteration, we have reviewers assigned to every different label to review rewards. And the trust metric, which certainly you have control over who are the who holds the keys to allowing people to be reviewers of issues in a particular topic. Frankly, I hope we can resolve this. The membership in our meeting the last hour are doing a justification for the bounty system. And I think I really question our commitment to decentralization if we don't change that SOW that was approved, and in the minutes there's no start date given for it. As far as I know, there's no official start date for that SOW that passed the board.
You mean the terms of service?
I'm sorry, the terms of service, yes.
Okay, we can talk about that offline, Jim. Again, I think that we're fully committed to a decentralized structure. We very much like the structure that Dan Connolly put together. However, we do have to be responsible with respect to the ROCs and the membership assets in general. So we're doing a balancing act so that we don't have random kiddies on the internet paying themselves in ROC and agreeing that ROC should line their kitty litter. So that's not quite an appropriate use of membership assets. So
well, we are policing.
So we have to do a balancing act, and the terms of service is what counts. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can be assured that the membership is policing the bounty system, and certainly there'll be people that will try to game it.
Yeah, I think that the proper term here is governance. We're trying to develop methods of governance, and the bounty system is an example of where we need to develop those methods.
I think you're absolutely right, and I love the fact that there's so much vigorous engagement around this. This is very good. This is awesome, and this is the kind of thing that we really need to be working on together. I'm very excited about that. And thank you so much for taking the time to raise these issues on the community hangout. So let's see, moving along. We have a few things to announce. So we did give a talk at Coinbase the day after the event at the Berkeley blockchain, and they sent me a link to the presentation that we gave there, which was in fact derived from the presentation that I gave at the Berkeley blockchain event. And I also, in terms of educational materials, I want to remind people, I think I mentioned it the last couple of Hangouts, but as a result of interest that happened in the developer conference in Boulder, I will be running a course that's limited to 12 participants initially, Introduction to the Design of Computational Calculi. So the aim is to get the participants in the course to the point where they can design their own computational calculi. So they'll be able to understand how the lambda calculus, the pi calculus, and the rho calculus, and the ambient calculus have been designed, what goes into such a design, and then be able to do this themselves. I think getting people up to speed on this kind of thing is very important. The courses will be recorded, where the marketing folks are giving will be helping us to see if we can get it up on one of the online offerings, either Coursera or Udemy or something like that. So it's a part of our outreach and our attempts to make the information more and more widely available. Speaking of which, Patrick, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you give a little update about the marketing organization, where you guys are, and what's happening with marketing?
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot of different work streams that we're kicking off. The latest one was more in depth with the value propositions and messaging, which will align with the branding agency that we've contracted. So our intentions with that is to not only have an overarching branding strategy for the organization, but as well as each of the key concepts that and features of the actual platform and how we can describe that to the different audiences. So that was an awesome meeting. I don't know if I can announce some of those people behind that, but they're really world-class people, so I'm happy to have them on board. The other work stream that we are kicking off is this educational arm. So Greg mentioned that we'll be helping to capture that content from the calculus course in a way that we can scale it, and also not only the calculus course, but in simultaneously with that, we are Ramsey is a new onboarding member. We've synced him with Michael Birch actually, and they recently just did a long interview, and they will do every week for some time now to kind of map out what an ideal developer onboarding experience would look like, and then the content that would help to optimize that experience. So that's already underway, and that's going very, very well. We're going to sync that up also with the messaging initiative, so that we can kill as many birds with as few stones as possible on that. So that will be awesome. So thank you, Kelly, for helping to coordinate that effort. Let's see. Some of the other stuff that we've been doing is just a lot of clarification on the operational structure and kind of getting those last details in place so that we can really truly ramp up the organization. And besides that, we've been hiring. We've been engaged in these conversations, getting ready to hire SEO, as well as I think a few other technical writers. We're still looking for a developer evangelist. Greg, I just saw a recommendation come through in the email, so that's awesome. That's one of the positions that we need to fill ASAP. So if any other people have recommendations, then let us know. That person will be kind of helping to take some of these speaking engagements off Greg's plate, helping to design the pitch deck in a way that, or pitch decks in a way that we can explain the RChain platform at different conferences worldwide. Because we're getting a lot of requests to actually attend these conferences and present RChain, and that's a wonderful thing. But we want our core development team focused on the development, so we want to staff up for that. Another thing that I've been working on that is kind of it interfaces with marketing, but it's more kind of community related, is figuring out how to staff community managers and how to optimize the community engagement process. So one of the things that I did, and I'm sorry that the invite to everybody was very, very last minute, but got a little bit on my plate at the moment, is I engaged with some of the co-founders of Lumio who run this consultation arm, the Hum, and they went through a workshop yesterday about patterns for decentralized organization. We got a chance to, there was a few of us in attendance. I think about 7 of us were in attendance. Thank you for all who attended. And I think that was a very valuable conversation. We did record it and capture it. So I shared an earlier video this morning, but it was only 1 minute. So I'm re-uploaded it and I'll share it to the full one to the membership. I think that that's going to go a long way in helping us align how our community actually can build and get the most effective results together. There's so much more, but I'll just stop there in the interest of time. Anybody can ping me about any more details related.
Actually, Patrick, to your point, we actually can announce the hiring of Gervin for the branding effort, because we both mutually execute the SOW. But maybe I should have Jonathan tell a little bit more about Gervin and what's and the selection that went in there and what we're expecting to get out of the effort.
Oh, thank you, Greg. I'd love to. So beginning in February, we started a search of candidate viable branding firms, and we started off with a list of 10 firms. One of the criteria was that they be based in Seattle and that they not be a subsidiary of some larger firm in New York City, Los Angeles, or whatever, but that we would be engaging with the principal of the branding firm. And after a lot of screening and then a lot of interviews and a lot of back and forth, we settled upon Gervin. And just so you all know, it's Gervin, GIRVIN.com. And they've been around for about 30 years and have an immense history of clients from in technology, Apple and Verizon and Microsoft, IBM, as well as the film industry. They've done a lot of the branding for movies like The Matrix and whatnot. Just an incredible portfolio. And we're kicking off with a stakeholders meeting in person at Gervin headquarters this Thursday. They've been very, very adept and at hoovering up information about blockchain and about RChain. In fact, one of their project people has been prowling around in GitHub and trying to just really understand what the issues have been. And they've been given all of the past history of branding efforts and logo and taglines and whatnot. So we'll be doing a stage-wise process with Gervin where there's engagement with main stakeholders, then presentation of Gervin results, then engagement with the community. And Patrick's come up with a really great stepwise process where Gervin works with the branding and marketing teams, but then the branding and marketing teams interface with the community so that there will be all voices will be heard in the process. And we're hoping to have all of the branding taglines, value propositions, and so forth finished up well in time for the September meeting in Berlin. So again, I urge you to check out Gervin.com, GIRVIN, and there's a lot to explore there.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. That was a excellent introduction. I am very impressed with their body of work. It's amazing, actually. So Patrick, I hope you don't mind if I toss something your way. My plate is completely full, and so I'm wondering if you can coordinate with Lawrence and Greg Heiss to kick off a deal day, something where a venue and sort of an initial venue and time where the community can meet the up and coming deals and the deals that have been signed, and get a feeling for what companies we're supporting, and get the community connected. I think this is very important. Are you guys up for coordinating that?
Yeah, so I forgot to mention this in my update, but Lawrence and I actually did meet last Friday before our staff call, and we kind of talked through some of the what that could look like. So we were thinking more digitally, but you're thinking in person, almost like an event.
No, I was thinking digitally, and then so I kind of like to do this in Crawl, Walk, Run.
Right.
Actually, but now that you say it, maybe doing it as an event is not a bad idea. So for those who could make it to an event, and then for those who can't, we have them join via online. But you know what? I trust you guys. Sort it out. Make it
point, Greg. I think that's spot on. Let's Crawl, Walk, Run. We'll do the digital, and then maybe start quarterly doing some in-person ones around the country betwixt the organizations.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I have full confidence that you guys will figure something out.
We'll get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. Anything else? So I have a quick update. So from the 19th through the 25th, I will be in Reykjavik. I'm only going to be working about half time because I'm working on a video shoot while I'm there. So I will be doing the regular hangouts. So we'll be there for the Casper hangout, the Dev stand up, and the RChain community hangout. But just giving everyone a heads up that I'll be sort of working only half time while I'm in Reykjavik, and also time will be a little bit torqued with respect to those people in Seattle. Okay, I think that's about everything. Amazingly, we got through all of the updates that were on my list, and we still have 7 minutes left before the top of the hour. So let me toss it out to those people who are on the call. Any burning questions, any things that you heard today that sparked something you want to talk about, please feel free.
Hey, Greg, this is Navneet. I just want to talk about some of the things community doing on Discord. I think we need to restrain ourselves. The kind of inflammatory comments we are posting on Discord. I think we need to respect other people's, and I think that has come to board's attention. And I think I just want to ask community member to restrain themselves before they post any comments which can offend other people. Do you have any comment, or other people any comments?
Yeah, so I very much agree with you. I mean, I think one of the things that we really need to be doing for each other as a service to each other is modeling effective communication. So like asking ourselves, what does effective communication look like and feel like and smell like and taste like, right? How do we know that our communication is effective? And hopefully some of the things that we got to experience with the governance conference were a primer for a taste of what effective and genuine communication looks like. And I think we'll be doing a lot more of that moving forward. But I think your comments are spot on, Navneet, and I really I think that we need to we owe it to ourselves to model and support effective communication in all of our channels: Discord, the community hangout, Telegram, and any other channel that the co-op might be involved in. It's up to us to demonstrate to the world what effective cooperation looks like. That's our job.
Yeah, well said, Greg. That was the one topic, and the second topic I want to touch upon on the meetups, right? So in Seattle, I think we have a pretty good following up. I just want to update the rest of the community member. We had on May 1st another meetup in Seattle area, or the Bellevue especially. And then around 35 people or 40 people showed up, and Kent was pretty instrumental presenting Rholang, and we are pretty happy, and the reception was amazing. People are looking forward to write code in Rholang. And if you guys are local, anybody's local, I welcome them to join our monthly meetups in Bellevue or WeWork area. And I think Tyler also proposing the similar kind of event we can do, first event where all the startups, they are participating in RChain, they can come and present their ideas, or they want to discuss more. I think that could be a good venue for us, sort of monthly event, what we can do.
Sweet. Also, we take possession of the RChain offices in just a few days now, not very long at all. And so I really would like to welcome the meetup and any other events, community events at the RChain space. To that end, I have just a little screen share I'd like to show here. Hang on one second. So this here is the Linea Mini La Marzocca machine, and I met with Rudy and Kent Baki of La Marzocca, and I met I guess it was a week ago this past Friday, and we picked out this machine, and this is the machine that we will be purchasing with rocks. To install in the RChain space. And one of the marketing events that we plan to offer is to have a monthly session with business leaders, both locally and from afar, to talk about their business and the intersection of their business and blockchain around a good cup of espresso. So Rudy will be leading that effort and coordinating with Patrick and others. We have some Patrick has some very, very clever ideas about how to spice that up, but we're going to keep that as a surprise for those to entice people to watch those videos. Lots and lots of opportunity to use the space to come together. I have a couple of other thoughts that I want to put out there and socialize. One of them is closely related. When I was down in the Bay Area last week, I had the pleasure of working in a space called Kovo, which is something like WeWork, except that it's more like a community space, a community working space wrapped around an excellent coffee shop. They have kombucha on tap and a nice espresso machine and a well-trained barista, and then they have a really, really lovely place to work and very nice meeting rooms associated with the space, so that if you need more privacy, you can go to the meeting rooms. And I'm beginning to think that the co-op, I just want to throw this out there, the co-op ought to consider having a network of physical spaces. Much like, yes, exactly. Much like Kovo. Kovo was a kind of inspiration to me. Places where we as members of the co-op can come together and meet and work together. And over a cup of coffee or a glass of kombucha or whatever it is. And I think this will really help with the formation and support of our community. I think this could be a remarkable boost to governance, as well as a remarkable boost to our presence in the marketplace and in the world. So just want to throw that out there. I know Rudy's been trying to put that bug in my ear for quite some time, but it wasn't until I was actually in the Kovo spaces and saw how effective it could be that I felt that we might be nearing that time. The other thing I want to throw out there, I mentioned this maybe in passing a couple of times, but I got a lot of support for this at the Berkeley Blockchain event. My son, Gabriel Meredith, and I have been working every afternoon for about an hour on a hardware design for a row machine. So we've got a version of a piece of hardware that will natively execute Rholang. The draft is already compiling to Verilog, We have just a few more instructions to implement, and then we will go into testing. And that will be his science project for his STEM school. When I mentioned this at the Berkeley blockchain, people got very, very enthusiastic. I want to caution that I know nothing about hardware, and Gabriel is just now learning how to program. So, so probably everything we did is wrong. And we would love to engage with people who actually have experience in hardware design to tell us, what we did wrong and how we could improve our design, and that sort of thing. We've learned a lot in going through this exercise together. But if you look on the Akbar's Grasp repo on GitHub, you'll see a repo called Row Machine. So you can check that out and follow the progress of that work. One of the things that I'm very excited or cautiously optimistic about, let's say that, is that the space is already open to the idea of ASICs for validators. People have already been people are used to the idea of ASICs for miners. So this would be the equivalent in RChain land to ASICs for miners. So this would be special purpose hardware to dramatically, like by orders of magnitude, speed up the execution of smart contracts on RChain. So I think there's actually a significant opportunity here, and along the way we can have a lot of fun. It's been a great deal of fun figuring out how to render this in hardware, and I'm sure we can learn a lot by engaging with others. So with that, I'll leave it for one or two last burning questions, and then we should say goodbye to this community hangout.
What was that link again, Greg? There it is.
I just posted.
Cool. I'm sending this to my friend who does this professionally now, Greg. So hopefully we'll get some additional help right away.
I just want to share an anecdotal story. I was wearing my treasured a row calculus T-shirt from the DevCon the other day, and I felt like a bipedal billboard. And this guy walked up and I said, "I love that T-shirt." And I said, "Oh, are you familiar with RChain?" And he goes, "Of course." And I want to start going to meetups. So it turns out he was a college student at a local community college, interested in not just blockchain but co-ops as well. So folks, wear your bipedal T-shirt, your bipedal billboards.
That's awesome. That's great news, Jonathan. Thank you for sharing that story. Anything else? Going once.
Any update on H3 Uni?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Your glasses are a little tilted there, dude.
Well, he's got the guts to unmask at least. That's cool.
So yes, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I was actually going to talk to Lilia and see if we can ping Ian. Ian was supposed to get us a finalized SOW last week, and I think he probably just got overwhelmed by the number of projects on his plate. But we should have an SOW nailed down for the attunement workshop in a very short order. I had hoped that I might go stop by Scotland to visit with the principal, Tony Hodgson, right after I was in Reykjavik, but I don't know if it's in the cards for me. I'll have to see if that's a possibility. But yes, that's definitely underway. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. With respect to tracking and accountability, which is what your question prompted, Meta helped the co-op get set up so that we're tracking all of our projects under JIRA. So our next step is to put a public-facing query on that, so that the community can have even further visibility into the co-op. And how we're organizing ourselves and the projects that we're tracking and how we're prioritizing that and all of that. so I'm very, very excited that we're starting to use JIRA and issue tracking to manage the co-op itself, and to give people more and more visibility into how that's happening.
An GraphQL interface like GitHub provides would be really awesome, and it would allow us to combine our data sources across JIRA and GitHub. And
cool. No, it's a good idea. Yeah, it could be fun. Could be a lot of fun. Absolutely. Yeah. Sweet. So with that, thank you all. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Gary.
Ciao.
Bye.